Now, just several hours ago, South Korean officials returned from Washington, D.C. following tariff negotiations with the U.S. Our Kim Bo-kyoung tells us the outcome of these talks.
The Presidential Chief of Staff for Policy, Kim Yong-beom, and Industry Minister Kim Jung-kwan have returned home from Washington after holding follow-up tariff negotiations with U.S. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick. Though there had been some progress in the talks, the two countries still remain sharply divided over key points, the presidential aide said on Friday to the reporters at Incheon airport.
There are still a few remaining issues, and we're now at a very critical moment. We'll do our best until the very end.
When asked about the possibility of reaching a trade deal by the time President Lee meets President Trump next week, Kim said there is still a long way to go and that time is running out.
There's no time left for additional face-to-face negotiations, and APEC is just around the corner. Time is running out, and if we're hoping for a deal to be reached around APEC, there's still a long way to go.
Kim, however, added that negotiations sometimes advance rapidly at the final stage. The officials did not disclose specific areas where they were at odds with the U.S., but one of the key issues has been differences over how to implement Seoul's $350 billion investment pledge. There were some expectations of two allies reaching a trade deal as Washington took one step back from demanding a full cash investment or upfront equity contribution, which Seoul deemed unrealistic given the country's foreign exchange constraints. However, the U.S. is still reportedly pressing for a considerable portion of direct cash investment to which South Korea is seeking to reduce the cash portion as much as possible and extend the investment period to avoid shocks to Korea's foreign exchange market. There still are some views, though, that the upcoming Korea-U.S. summit next week could provide the momentum to reach a deal. Kim Bo-kyoung, ArirangNews.